What is up, guys? Jake from One Hive here with the next Dawn of Titans video, and this one is going to be all about what to upgrade when you go to a new castle level. I know you guys are probably progressing through the game, starting to get to where upgrades take a little longer, things are slowing down, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. That means you're getting somewhere, so props to you guys. Pro tip here, you're going to see that I'm not collecting my stuff, especially when you get to higher leagues. You'll see that right now we are in the Champion League, and things have gotten legit. I think we'll be hanging out here for a while. Everybody is super active. Some of these guys are crazy. We cruise right through all the way up to the Champions League, but I believe until we level up, this is probably going to be home for a little while. You'll see there all we've got is Master League and Legend League ahead, so doing well, but the reason I have not collected my resources here until they get like completely full and I just need to go ahead and do it, people can't take those resources until you collect it, so it's not up for grabs. So be sure, unless just sort of resist the urge, unless you need it for an upgrade or something like that, to grab onto it. Now I will go in and grab these islands. I have put a few islands on. Don't worry about if they get taken, but I threw those on there. So all right, so let's get started on what to upgrade when you go into a new castle level. So brand new level, the first thing I always try to upgrade is the garrison. Now, the reason for this is because it gives me obviously a stronger defense, and not only just for my garrison, for my main base, but if I have islands, if you have a lot of islands, it upgrades all of that. So it's a huge upgrade. But the one thing that you need to know is that you're going to have requirements. Like you'll see here, even once I go to castle level 12, my food reserve are a prerequisite for upgrading this building. So you have to just sort of take that in consideration and say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Now, it can even sort of double up on you. You might go to upgrade your food reserves and say, oh, wow, I can't even hold that much gold. So what do I got to do? I got to upgrade a gold storage before I can even get into that. So it kind of, you might have to make a little list of what you have to get, but your first goal, in my opinion, should be that garrison, because it is just such a big upgrade. When you go a level in a troop, that is a big jump in power. So try to get that done as quick as possible. Your list does not have to match mine exactly, but this might give you some ideas of reasons why something should be sort of high on your priority list versus low on your priority list. The second thing is the army camp. Sort of the same thing, but for offense. Having that extra battle slot when you can get it, like, going to castle level 12 next, I will not even get a chance to upgrade this because I have to have castle level 13. But when I get there, it will be very high on my list because having that extra battle slot is ginormous. The troop capacity, it's nice, it helps, but the battle slot is everything. So that's my number 2 upgrade building that I shoot for. After that, I go ahead and go for the reserves. Now, normally, I will already have had to do one of the other, either food or gold reserves, because of the garrison. It's a prerequisite every level for that I've had so far. So usually one of those are knocked out, but whichever one is not done, I will go ahead and upgrade that. Protect some of your resources. As you go up in leagues again, it gets crazy how fast you get attacked. It actually gets quite a bit harder to gather resources, so you want to protect all that you can. From there, I'm looking towards the med school. I use a lot of, I use troops, especially when I was lower level, even troops that I don't have the ability to train yet, like the Goliath. Oh, and speaking of names of troops, I know you guys that it's called a grenadier. I don't like the way that sounds. I'm from the South. I call it a grenadier. Sorry, deal with it. Medical school lets me keep those troops, not have to gem them to heal them up after fights a lot more often. So that's a pretty big upgrade for me, and my strategy and how I attack is to really try to maximize the small number of gems possible to use to keep those troops going forward. So put your med school pretty high up on your list as well. From there, I'm looking towards the armory. Now, this is what's going to allow you to upgrade your troops, make them higher level. And some people could make a good argument that I would say, yeah, that makes sense to put this way higher on your priority list. That's because, and if you don't do that, you may have nothing to spend your food on while you're trying to upgrade all these other buildings, and that food's just sitting there being stolen or stacking up and being wasted. I'll sort of wrap back around to this towards the end. It's not really a problem for me most of the time, and I'll tell you why, but that's where I sort of rank my armory in that. By the time I get to that, usually I've got everything else taken care of and I can start spending my food. But again, we'll address that towards the end. It'll make more sense. Let's see, troop-specific buildings like this right here that I'm upgrading, the Unak Citadel, or possibly the Mosmain whatever that is. These names that you guys know how I am with names and stuff like that. But anyways, these might be things that you want to go ahead and get upgraded because you've upgraded your armory, and those are your most important troops, probably the ones you're using more often than not. So you want to go ahead and get those started so you can start upgrading those powerful troops. From there, probably Alliance Camp if it's an option, because you've got, you know, that extra battle slot when it comes, or just having more reinforcements to choose for people that can donate. It's a good thing. So, you know, that's in there, probably mid-range as well. From that point, I will probably be upgrading my storages that weren't already required to be upgraded, because again, as you get to a new castle level and you have to start upgrading things, a lot of the times, and as you go, you don't even have the capacity to hold the gold or the food that you need to upgrade that building or that troop. So you're going to have to do this before this point on at least some of your storages, but go ahead and finish them off, because, you know, it's nice to have room to not waste resources and have a place to put it. Barracks. I will go ahead and put that pretty low on my list, because honestly, all it does is give you another training queue slot, and really, I have not found a great need for that. Pretty easy to go along and not worry about that, and just have your troops pre-trained essentially in this game. I don't lose a lot of troops in my strategy, which we'll get to a video about sort of how I attack too sooner than later. But yeah, those are pretty far down on my priority list. From there, I'm going to look to upgrade my gold mines and my farms. You know, yeah, they're great. It's nice to upgrade those. I just think these other things are more important. You know, it's just, there's a lot of them. It takes a long time to upgrade them, so I put it pretty low on my list. From there, the last thing I look to upgrade is my Arcane Tower and my Spell Forges. Now, again, you could make an argument for this to say, hey, Jake, you need to have that higher on your list. But the reason I do it that way is because it's the last thing I upgrade. And if it's the last thing I upgrade, then as I hit the button on my castle to go to the next level, I will, by the time it's upgraded and the Arcane Tower is done, then I'm able to use that food that I'm not using anything on, because I don't even have the ability to upgrade new troops on the next castle level. I use that food to go ahead and top off my spell levels. So that's sort of a way to not waste it while I'm sort of prioritizing those other buildings and stuff like that. That's how I do it. Doesn't mean it's the best way to do it, just the way I've done it and I like it. Also, don't forget about the Hall of Titans and the portal. Not high on my priority list, but they are requirements for going to the next castle level. So you're going to have to do them, but they're pretty late on my priority list because they don't make me any stronger defensively, and they don't make me any stronger offensively. So there you go, guys. Pretty quick rundown of how I do it. Let me know in the comments if that makes a lot of sense to you guys, gave you any good ideas, or if you do it totally different. Maybe I'll learn something from you all. Hope you liked the video. Until next time, Jake from One Hive doing my best to help you guys suck less.